The history of black female exploitation in America has been a long and painful one, in the infamous words of Malcolm X. The more recently infamous SNL performance given by superstar female rapper Megan Thee Stallion, the most disrespected woman in America is the black woman. The most unprotected person in America is the black woman. The most neglected person in America is the black woman. For the most commonly disrespected, unprotected, and neglected class of people in the USA, representation throughout all facets of American social and political life is more critical than ever. That is one of the many reasons that black female politicians are so influential to America's past, present, and future. As such, we should remember the long history of black female political action and service that has made America what it is today. Before we get started, please like the video and subscribe for more great content. Also, if you want to help us keep this content going and free forever, please check out our Patreon page and our store. Our next Patreon goal is to hand out book bags and school supplies to inner-city kids. Everything you need is in the description below. 9. Angela Davis.
Asked me about violence. I just find it incredible. What it means is that the person who's asking that question has absolutely no idea what black people have gone through.
Angela Yvonne Davis is best known for her involvement with the Black Panther Party and a subsequent lifetime of powerful, radical, political rhetoric. Born in 1944 in Birmingham, Alabama, to working-class parents, Davis grew up amidst racial violence and turmoil. After studying philosophy with Herbert Marcuse as an undergraduate at Brandeis University, she progressed on to UC San Diego, a self-defense and social justice organization formed to undermine police brutality and develop black civic and community engagement. As a self-professed communist, she spent her early years agitating for a political revolution and later on to receive her PhD from Humboldt University in Germany. Unfortunately, her political activities led to her arrest on attempted murder and kidnapping charges, landing her at the top of the FBI's America's Most Wanted list in the 1970s. Still, as a true testament to the strength of her convictions and her commitment to social justice, she returned to public speaking, teaching, and international civil rights work after her acquittal, and ultimately accepted the nomination as vice president for the Community Party USA's ticket in 1980 and 1984 elections. While her party was soundly defeated on both occasions, she has been immortalized through her writing and social justice work as a true champion for the African diaspora at home and abroad. 8.
You can make a difference
Loretta
very
Lynch.
quietly, and that it's the choices that you make and the things that you're willing to accept and not accept that define who you are.
Loretta Elizabeth Lynch was born in Greensboro, North Carolina in 1959 to a school librarian and a Baptist minister. As a child, she developed an interest in the practice of law, encouraged in part by the story of her grandfather, a sharecropper who helped black people relocate to the North during Jim Crow segregation in the 1930s. Her natural intellect furthered by her political aspirations, as she carried her bachelor's degree from Harvard in English and American Studies and went on to earn her JD from Harvard Law School. After years of experience as a prosecutor in both street crime and political corruption, she became the Assistant U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of New York in 1991. She served until 2001 and left to join the private sector until she was asked to resume the position by President Barack Obama in 2010. She went on to become the U.S. Attorney General, confirmed in 2015, making her the first African-American woman to hold the position. During her time in the role, she worked to secure justice for victims of hate crimes and police brutality. She was also vocal about the difficulty that felons face in reintegrating into society. 7. Carol Moseley Braun.
In a time when money is more important than ever in our politics, you take the confluence of those things, it's small wonder why there are not more women.
Carol Moseley Braun was born in Chicago in 1947. Growing up in a middle-class family, she leveraged her early interest in politics and went on to graduate from college at the University of Illinois with a BA in political science. She subsequently earned her JD from the University of Chicago Law School and later on went on to work as a prosecutor in the Chicago U.S. Attorney's Office. Early disappointments in seeking political office, along with political changes in the nation, particularly her opposition to the confirmation of Justice Clarence Thomas, sound familiar? Ultimately led her to run for Congress, and she unseated the incumbent candidate, becoming the first African-American woman senator of the United States. During her time in the position, she fought for diversity and equality, in part by moving against organizations that aim to celebrate symbols of racism. While her later bids for Democratic nomination on the presidential ticket of 2000 and 2004 were unsuccessful, her zealous championing of justice, particularly for women and people of color, should be an inspiration to us all. 6.
We are a people
Barbara
in
Jordan.
a quandary about the present. We are a people in search of our future. We are a people in search of a national community.
Barbara Charlene Jordan was born in Houston, Texas in 1936 to a graduate of the Tuskegee Institute and an accomplished public speaker. She went on to earn her BA from Texas Southern University and HBCU and her law degree from Boston University. After passing the Texas and Massachusetts state bar exams, she began a private law practice before running for public office. Although she was unsuccessful in her run for the Texas House of Representatives, she became the first African-American female senator in the history of Texas and the first black person to hold the office since the American Reconstruction. Her accomplishments didn't stop there, however. After her term in the Senate, she went on to serve in the House of Representatives, where she was appointed to the House Judiciary Committee. One of her most influential moments was a speech she gave before the committee about Nixon's impeachment, which later led to her to become the first African-American woman to deliver a keynote speech at the DNC, Democratic National Convention. 5. Fannie Lou Hamer.
It was the 31st of August in 1962 that 18 of us traveled 26 miles to the county courthouse in Indianola to try to register to become first-class citizens.
Fannie Lou Townsend Hamer grew up in poverty in Montgomery County, Mississippi. Born in 1917, a young Hamer helped her parents pick cotton as a child and dropped out of school to work by the age of 12. When she reached middle age, she was a victim of forced sterilization, receiving a hysterectomy without consent while undergoing another procedure. After such a life, one might have expected Hamer to be worn down, but in fact, she was just getting started. She joined the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, the SNCC, the same year and organized to aid black people in registering to vote. 2 years later, she was finally registered, only to be arrested that same day for sitting at a whites-only counter and was severely beaten in jail, suffering permanent disability from the incident. Still, her ire at the many strategies used to deny blacks the vote only redoubled her determination. Although she was unsuccessful in her run for the Mississippi Senate, being barred from the ballot and silenced in her early attempts to speak out about black voter suppression, Hamer went on to found the FFC, Freedom Farm Cooperative, to aid African Americans in sustaining their lives and livelihoods, as well as the National Women's Political Caucus. 4. Condoleezza Rice.
Our sense of vulnerability and our concepts of security were never the same again.
Condoleezza Rice was born to a minister and a teacher in Birmingham, Alabama in 1954. After a childhood inundated with Southern racism and segregation, Rice obtained her BA in political science from the University of Denver in 1974. She got her master's in the same field from Notre Dame and returned to Denver's Graduate School of International Studies for her PhD, after which she taught as a professor of political science at Stanford. She subsequently became Stanford University's first African-American provost in 1993. The accomplishments for which she is best known will come to pass almost a decade later, when she was appointed as the first African-American woman National Security Advisor to President George Bush in 2001 and the first African-American woman U.S. Secretary of State in 2004. Her platform of transformational diplomacy sought to build a more efficient and equal state that could both meet domestic needs and remain responsible to the international diplomatic community. Despite the criticism that she faced for her role in the Iraq War, her influential positions on everything from terrorism and immigration to affirmative action and women's rights make her a notable American political figure. 3. Maxine Waters.
And I cannot be intimidated. I cannot be undermined. I cannot be thought to be a friend of Bill O'Reilly or any.
Maxine Moore Waters is a career politician, having served as a U.S. representative for California since 1991. Born in St. Louis, Missouri in 1938, Waters was raised by a single mother, working to help the family when they relocated to Los Angeles in 1961. At the age of 33, she enrolled in LA State College, where she earned a BA in sociology. After earning her degree, Waters came to work for the California State Assembly. Since her election to the House of Representatives, Waters has gained a reputation as a force to be reckoned with, standing up to condescending white men, calling out government corruption, and going toe-to-toe with top political leaders about the issues more important to her constituents. Auntie Maxine has been a vocal opponent of President Donald Trump's leadership, has garnered more popularity among the black community nationwide for her sassy retorts and no-nonsense political stances, making her a powerful force in today's political landscape. 2. Kamala Harris.
And sacrificed so much for equality and liberty and justice for all.
Kamala Devi Harris is an African-American and South Asian American politician who is best known as the current Democratic Party Vice President-elect. Born in Oakland, California in 1964 to highly educated immigrant parents, Harris participated in the Berkeley desegregation program, which bused students to more affluent and primarily white districts. After attending high school in Montreal, Quebec, she went on to attend Howard University and HBCU, where she earned her BA in political science and economics. She earned her JD at the UC Hastings College of Law in 1989 and began practicing law the following year. Her early career saw her as a deputy and then assistant district attorney, where she led the career criminal division. In 2004, she became the district attorney for San Francisco, cracking down on felony convictions, and later aiming to reduce social problems like truancy and recidivism, going back to jail after serving time. In 2016, Harris was elected to the California Senate, where she served on the Senate Judiciary Committee. While many people were skeptical of Harris's run for VP because of her history as a prosecutor, especially amidst the political unrest over police brutality and her association with the police as a prosecutor, we must remember the complicated history between black female politicians and the law. Harris continued the streak of successful black female first, becoming the first African-American woman to serve as the Vice President of the United States. 1. Shirley Chisholm.
But a catalyst for change in a society is usually persona non grata with those who have been the beneficiaries of the system. A catalyst for change has to be able to withstand the insults, the humiliations, the abuses, and the slurs. What's wrong with my running for president of this country? After all, for 15 years, I have been the ghostwriter for a lot of them.
Shirley Anita Chisholm is best known as the first African-American woman elected to the United States Congress. Born in 1924 to Caribbean immigrant parents in Brooklyn, Chisholm's early life was a mixture of American and Barbadian influences. She went on to graduate from Brooklyn College, where she excelled as a debater and ultimately became a nursery school teacher, because despite her interest in politics, she didn't believe she would be successful in the field as a black woman. In 1951, she earned a master's degree in early childhood development from Columbia University and used that experience in her work with the New York City division of daycare. As she became more involved in social justice organizations for race and gender equality, she ultimately decided to run for and was elected to the New York legislature in 1964, making her the state's second African-American representative. Fighting Shirley brought more than 50 pieces of legislation before the House and served as Hamer's co-founder of the National Women's Political Caucus. In 1972, she ran for the Democratic Party presidential nomination, but she was met with racism and suppression at every turn, still managing to secure 10% of the vote. While she obviously never became president, her fighting spirit should be an inspiration to every black woman who hopes to make a difference in her community. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe. Also, let us know if you agree in the comments below. Check out our Patreon page and store to help us grow. Thanks, and talk to you next time.